Welcome to 303 Hoops, a whole lot more than the box score. For you hoop junkies, number nerds, or just someone who loves basketball, this is for the love of the game. Live from 303, I'm Ryan Hinsky.
And I'm Caleb Bunch
we have a special, we're both so excited.
I know.
To introduce our special guest from Dialed In, you might know.
Right.
He's been waiting to talk about his favorite basketball team, the Boston Celtics.
Yes.
He doesn't get to talk about them in Dialed In.
No, he
But now it's
doesn't.
NBA playoff time.
Mm-hmm.
So please welcome Boston legend, Florida legend, IMG legend, Medill legend, Collin O'Callaghan.
Oh, my God. I'm so pumped. Thank you guys for having me, finally.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, Collin, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what made you want to come on 303? Why do you love sports? Give us the rundown.
Hell yeah. So, Hinsky brought it up. I was, at IMG Academy on the event operations team. And, there were some parts of it that are cool. I got to work at the scores table for basketball season. I was a PA announcer for baseball. I, did spotting for football. But, a lot of the stuff is just, setup and, operations, making sure that things are, going according to plan.
Right.
And so, really, it's just a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that can be kind of boring. And, my mom just one day was like, Collin, you're too talented to, keep doing this. Not that you're not enjoying it, not that you're not making money, but you could do a lot better and a lot bigger. So she convinced me to apply to Medill, and I was like, I don't know if I'm actually going to get in because it has a 10% acceptance rate.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, as someone that was not in school for the last couple of years, I figured, okay, you know what? I'll go through the process. I'll do what I can. Let's see what happens. And then funny enough, I was on the beach when I found out that I got in. And I was like, you know what? There's no looking back now. So I'm here, and it's been an outstanding 8 months since. So.
Dude, awesome. We love to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
At IMG, Darius Acuff was there when you were there, right?
He was. I got to watch him play there, and he was just as much of a stud as he is now for Arkansas, and that's probably why he's going to be taken with a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
So.
He might be our favorite.
Yeah, we love talking about Acuff here.
I know. Yeah. I'm your biggest fan. I've been paying attention. So, DA was amazing. Zach Edey was also there, Musa Diabate. I don't think those two played when I was working there, but IMG has a very impressive alumni board. When it
That
comes
resume
to
that they have of former players it's insane. So.
Yep.
But guys, we're not talking about high school basketball today.
Oh, no.
But before we get into NBA playoffs, we have a segment we like to do. And Collin, since you're our special guest, please take the floor.
I make the walk to Medill every day. It's about a 10, 15-minute walk, and I'm always, playing. I play pretty much random stuff. But one particular song that I had in mind was On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons. The reason why is because, looking back over these past 8 months and you're thinking about, 2 birthdays that, took place this week, it's just thinking about all those fun times and positive memories and those great experiences that you when you look back at them, you never want to take it for granted. But when you actually do get to spend that time and whenever you get to chop it up and see how everyone's doing, you just feel like you're on top of the world because it's just, you got so many amazing people around you. You've had so many positive moments to share them with. And more importantly, it's you just don't want that feeling to ever go away. So I think that song when I was about to walk into the building, I'm like, you know what? I'm in a great mood. I'm going to freaking kill it. And, I think this is the perfect way to end it for me, being on this show. So,
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one of those birthdays this week was you, Caleb.
Absolutely. Let's freaking go.
The Caleb birthday episode. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Unk.
Thank you. Okay. I know I am Unk. But Ryan, what was your song?
I picked Blue Sky by Allman Brothers Band. Today's a rainy day. So I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to think about the blue sky.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful song. They are one of my favorite bands of all time. And I don't think I've done an Allman Brothers song yet, so I need to. So, Blue Sky by the Allman Brothers.
Wonderful. I originally had a Justin Bieber song, but I was like, we need some diversity on this panel today. So, guys, I have The Weeknd, Phantom Regret, who Jim Carrey is featured on that song.
He is.
It's primarily a Jim Carrey song, honestly, but it's wonderful. If you don't like Dawn FM, you need to tune back in. I think it's one of The Weeknd's better albums, or more underrated, I should say.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey spits bars on this song. It's a great record. Check it out. I have no more to say about that. You learn a couple things about life listening to that song.
He was on Out of Time too.
Yeah.
So that right towards the end, that whole album is really underrated.
It's Jim
I
Carrey,
agree.
man.
Yeah. Jim Carrey,
He's the GOAT.
one of the GOATs, man.
One of the
Yeah.
GOATs.
He's up there. So
Yeah.
Okay, time to talk about hoops.
I know.
I've been so ready. I've been diving into the statistics.
I was about to
like,
watch what you say.
all
after
day. And it's time for the NBA playoffs.
Let's talk.
We are, at the time of this recording, still awaiting the play-in games for the 8 seeds. So we have Suns and Warriors, Magic and Hornets.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us will pick the upsets.
No.
Charlotte might have a chance against the Pistons, people are saying, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But regardless of the result, the playoff bracket is basically set.
Yes.
So we are going to give you our picks for the entire playoffs. The first round is the Thunder against the play-in, Lakers Rockets 4-5, Nuggets Timberwolves 3-6, Spurs Trailblazers 2-7. Then on the other side, Pistons versus Magic or Hornets, Cavs Raptors, Knicks Hawks, Celtics Sixers once again, another Celtics Sixers
It doesn't stop.
series.
I know.
And another the big one that we love to see almost every year at this point, Nuggets Timberwolves.
I know.
Is such a good
Again.
one.
I know.
And those are our series. We're gonna pick our champions. We're going off the cuff a little bit because I know we have so many takes.
Yeah.
But I think we should start with some of the more contentious series, like the coin flip first round.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Do you want to start West or East? You want to go Lakers Rockets? There's a
Let's
lot
go
of
Lakers Rockets.
Lakers Rockets.
Let's start
All right.
Lakers Rockets.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect. So, I don't know, guys. Here's my thing. LeBron is gonna have to be a vintage performance for LeBron. Like, I saw a potential starting lineup today. We saw Jake LaRavia was in the starting lineup. Bronny James possibly could be a starter
No.
in this.
No way.
So that alone is crazy to say, but I think it's going to take a lot out of LeBron this series. And I ultimately have the Rockets winning because I think considering the health of that team, they're getting on the healthier side now. They had their little ups and downs and ebbs and flows during the season, but I think when they're healthy, they're one of the best teams in the league. I think, honestly, they're a top 3 team in the league when healthy. Last 10 games, they're 9-1. So I think it's going to be tough for the Lakers to not only deal with the starting 5 of the Rockets, but just the depth of that team. I think LeBron, he's going to put up ridiculous numbers, but I think it'll be difficult. But I do have the Rockets. I think it goes 6, though. I think LeBron steals a couple games, but nothing too much.
Right. I agree with you. I have Rockets in 6. I think it's because, A, Houston defends well. B, because Luka and Austin Reeves are out. I think the only way that the Lakers even have a chance of winning is if, obviously, you talked about LeBron, but someone in the fourth quarter, really needs to, step up for them. Like Rui or Luke Kennard or even DeAndre Ayton. God knows if he ever will. But the problem with Houston, though, is it's they don't have a point guard, and also their offense can get cold, so that can hurt them. But I think like you said, Houston is more complete, and the Lakers just when they're not at full strength have enough. So I'll go Rockets at 6.
Yeah.
Rockets in 5.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, I got him in 5.
That's the take I've been seeing from a lot of people.
And I'm a LeBron stan,
Yeah.
and there's just not.
If it hasn't been
enough.
clear enough.
Yeah, there's not enough that one man can do. He's not 2018 LeBron.
Yeah.
If it was 2018 LeBron, I'd take him to win the series.
I would too.
Possibly.
honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was LeBron and Jordan Clark, and now it's LeBron and Jake LaRavia. So, but LeBron is 41.
Yeah.
So
But it is crazy. I've seen over the duration in which that Luka and Reeves have been out, LeBron's putting up ridiculous numbers.
insane.
Yeah.
Ridiculous numbers,
Insane.
especially for a 41-year-old. He's averaging 25 plus, 5 rebounds plus, 5 assists plus. So
But you're gonna ask him to go out there against the
I know.
lengthy
I know.
Rockets team.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Who on starting day had the tallest recorded starting 5, right?
And you love that.
I do.
You still do.
I do.
But you really loved it then. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yes.
For winning purposes.
Yes.
For winning basketball games.
Yes.
I know exactly what you mean. Just messing with you. But yeah, I love just the size that the Rockets have 1 through 5. I think it's incredible to watch how they're able to move and sync, especially because they're all mobile players
And
too.
Reed Shepard is a stud off the bench.
Yeah,
He's
like
great.
he don't let him get hot.
No.
Do not let him get hot.
It's like Peyton Pritchard-esque.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why I agree with that. But
mean,
it is.
not wrong.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Undersized guard who can shoot the roof off the ball. Like, incredible to watch. But enough of that, guys.
Yeah.
There's another Western Conference game that you referred to.
Yes.
That one I'm interested in the takes that we have.
Yes.
Nuggets, Timberwolves.
Ooh.
What do we think? We've seen this matchup before. The Timberwolves have seemed to be the Nuggets like kryptonite in years past, but considering how the Nuggets have played recently, do we think that will continue?
I got, this regular season, Denver won 3 of 4,
Yeah.
but they lost the most recent matchup. Western Conference semifinals in 2024 fed families. The Wolves actually upset the Nuggets. They won the first 2, then the Nuggets won 3, and then the Wolves won on the road
Right.
to take that one home.
Yes.
And then since the 2020-21 season, the Wolves have gone 12-11 in the regular season against the Nuggets. The Nuggets have gone 7-5 against the Wolves in the playoffs.
Interesting.
This is such an evenly matched. When you talk about the eras that these two teams are in,
Yeah.
they keep facing each other, and it's always an excellent series. What makes this year different? For the Timberwolves, offensive rating is down 2 points versus top 10 opponents.
Yeah.
Defensive rating is worse by 2.7 points. Denver has improved against top 10 opponents by 4.2 points in offensive rating, and their net is up against top 10, 3.9.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
Big jump.
It is.
So they've played really well against top teams this season, whereas, they may have won more games last season, but didn't play as well against top teams. So though the record says 3 seed against top seeds, they probably are playing more like a 2 or even a 1.
Like,
Right.
and the Spurs are an example of that. They've
Right.
handled the Spurs really well this year.
They have. They're 3-1 against the Spurs.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. What do you think, Colin?
I would say Denver is definitely has a better chance of winning this series than they did, 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I think it's just because, Minnesota this year, I don't know, over the past month or two, they've been pretty banged up. I mean, that's why Anthony Edwards is going to be ineligible for, any first-team All-NBA because of the knee injury, and then Jaden McDaniels as well. But, I think, listen, it just feels like every time I watch Jokic, he just gets better and better.
Yeah.
Every single year. And more importantly, when he did miss time, you have so many guys that, can step up at, any given moment. Obviously, you've got Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson and Hardaway coming off the bench. But I think, I think this year, Denver is, better in terms of size, and Jokic is still putting up MVP caliber numbers.
Yeah.
Their bench is, a little bit deeper. And I think with the Timberwolves, it's you know what you're going to get from Ant-Man because he's, over the last 2 playoffs, he's beaten, some of the greats, but I just don't know if, I don't know. I just don't think Minnesota, has enough just to, get them over the hump. But I do think it's going to go to 7 games.
Really?
It's going to be a great series.
Really?
I think
Interesting.
you're going to see 107, 102 type of finishes.
Every game, you think?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. I think the only way it does get to 120 is if Jokic drops a 50-point triple-double, which he can do because he's proven to drop 43 against Rudy Gobert. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think I am not as high on the Timberwolves as some other people may be. I think this Denver team is different. I think they've figured out how to play their best basketball when it matters most. They've won the last 12 games, if I'm not mistaken.
they did.
Yeah, so I think Denver's hit their stride, and they've been playing really good teams in the last quarter of the season. So looking at that, I have a lot of faith in Denver. I do think Minnesota is a team that a lot of people have slept on,
Right.
even though they were 149 games this year, and they had health problems, which I think speaks a lot to their coaching and the sets they've been able to draw up. But I do think Denver takes this. I think it honestly only goes 5.
Yeah.
Really?
I think that with Jamal Murray playing his better basketball, honestly, in his career, in my opinion. Jokic is putting
he
up
finally
MVP
made an
numbers.
all-star team.
Yeah. Cam Johnson's figuring out how to play with that core. They've been struggling initially in the beginning of the season there. I think they're figuring out pieces because they're used to MPJ, but Cam Johnson's obviously not that type of player. For the better, in my opinion.
For the better.
For that
For the-
roster.
yes.
This
For
guy-
the better.
This guy hates MPJ.
Wow.
He just hates MPJ.
I mean, why?
I got to give him some credit for
This guy
getting better,
hates
but when
MPJ.
he was when he was a young player, he was so frustrating.
I know it was bad.
Well,
to
that
watch.
was, I mean, he did have the back injuries.
He's a little better, but I
Yeah.
love Cam Johnson.
But I think they have depth this year that they've kind of lacked in years past, right? Bruce Brown's back. Tyus Jones is on that roster.
Right.
Hardaway, Peyton Watson is a dog. He can give you
Swatson.
Good call. He can give you quality minutes. Obviously, just speaking to the backup, Jonas Valanciunas, I think was an underrated pickup.
Yeah.
Gives you
They
quality
finally
minutes.
needed a back.
So I think they have pieces that they're able to move around, and Jokic doesn't have to play hero ball every game with that team now. So I have them winning in 5. Even though a lot of pundits, a lot of people do think this would be a better series in Minnesota, a lot of people are sleeping on them.
Yeah.
I just think this isn't going to be as big of a series just because of how good Denver's playing.
I've got Denver in 6 because I believe Chris Finch can get 2 wins out of it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job with that.
He's
Anthony
done it
Edwards will-
before,
Yeah.
and the roster is still what it was.
It's intact.
Yeah.
It's
so,
intact.
but the Nuggets have gotten better, so I think
Yeah.
it will be less competitive than years past. But I can definitely see
Yeah.
what you said happening for sure.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards is going to have like one hot fourth quarter. He's
Yeah.
going to drop
Yeah.
40 in
I
one
agree.
game.
I agree.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think we should stay in this quadrant
Okay.
and go to
Alrighty.
Denver and San Antonio, assuming you guys all have the Blazers falling to San Antonio.
I have the Blazers losing.
I got
4.
the Blazers losing.
Okay.
4
Yeah.
games.
It's going to be a
Sweep.
sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
They're great. They need some more time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although Scoot Henderson is getting a lot better.
Getting better.
San Antonio versus Denver. This is the series.
Ooh.
I spent the most time on this series.
Yeah.
And I have so much to get into, but I don't want to. I'm going to give my first take, and then I might add a second.
Let's hear it.
So the Nuggets won 3 of 4,
Yep.
including both games in April.
Yep.
Yes.
Relative defensive rating for the Spurs is by far the highest in the league. They are so good defensively, and the Nuggets are by far the worst contending defense. They are 21st in the league.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So you have very different defenses. How do you even predict this? Well, you look at how they played each other, but I think it's a lot more than that. I believe the Spurs team is deeper still,
Yep.
even though the Nuggets have gotten better. And in a 7-game series, their youth and attrition will help them. I don't think their young legs will take them all the way, but I also trust De'Aaron Fox. I keep saying De'Aaron Fox
Yeah.
is the X factor.
Yeah.
I trust him in the clutch. I trust him in the biggest moments.
Yeah.
And I believe they take Game 7.
Hey, man, I don't think that's a bad take.
No.
I think Denver wins. I've seen how
I
they
thought
played
so.
the 4 games.
I was
think,
ready for this.
I think Denver. I was looking at past stats, so just comparable stats in terms of offensive rating, right? So looking at champions since the year 2000, and we're looking at effective field goal percentage and the rank in the league. Denver's number 1. So they have one of the best offenses. I do understand that the defense that San Antonio brings, being a top 3 defense in the league, will kind of mitigate that issue. But I do think, considering how important offensive efficiency has been in recent playoffs, we saw that with OKC last year, 2023, 2024 Celtics, we saw that as well. I think Denver pulls this off. I think they're able to figure out how to mitigate Wemby, which I think is going to be very tough for then other players on San Antonio to step up, especially considering how young they are.
Yeah. Well, first off, I don't think anybody can mitigate Wemby because the guy is just something else.
I think Jokic can, man. I think he can.
Yeah, I will say this though. I agree that Jokic is going to outplay Wemby because we've seen him do that. Like the third game, Wemby had 34 or whatever it was, and then Jokic had 40
ball.
So he's definitely capable of doing that. I agree with Caleb though. I think it's going to go to 7. I think if that doesn't, then that's going to be shocking. But I think I feel like Denver can definitely it's good. They're definitely, besides the Thunder, obviously, they're the biggest threats to San Antonio just because you got Jokic alone. You got the guard depth. You talk about the bench. And also, more importantly, this is the first time for so many of these Spurs to be in the playoffs. The only ones that have had at least some playoff experience are De'Aaron Fox, Luke Cornett, and
Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just and 2 of them are guys coming off your bench, and De'Aaron Fox has only been in the playoffs once. So it's this is a team that
Barnes
really
might
needs
start,
to
though.
right.
Yeah.
Barnes might start.
Yeah,
Barnes-
he probably will.
Yeah.
Possibly, but this is a team that really needs to get in a different mindset to where it's it's gonna get harder each and every single round.
Yeah.
And the more games you play, the more minutes you play, the more wear and tear it's going to have, not just like on your physical strengths, but also
Mentally.
it's more mental than anything.
Right. No, I agree with that. I think what's important though is when I say youth, I'm not necessarily saying inexperience. They correlate obviously, but I want to be clear that I think that the experience that San Antonio will get from the first round, I think will help them just going forward, obviously. But I just think that even just understanding playoff basketball, a huge portion of that is that the game significantly changes, right? Like we've seen this in years past, the game becomes way more physical.
It does.
And I think that is the biggest thing for San Antonio. It's not that they can't play physical, but it's just knowing the differences between playoff basketball and regular season basketball is a big part of that. A lot of those Denver Nuggets have played in playoff basketball, so they understand. A couple champions on their squad, a couple people that made deep playoff runs. So I think that's kind of more so why I think they'll have the edge. But I know you said something, Ryan.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think there's a big chance that Jokic just little bros Wemby and says, you're not ready for this yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that would be great for the league.
I think it was important.
As like a
Yeah.
legacy moment in the league's history of like, young guy in his third season is dominating, and then the guy who's been dominating for almost a decade at this point says, not yet, young man. That would be great for the history of the league.
Yes,
But
yes.
I wanted to mention another stat. We know the Nuggets are 21st defensively. The Spurs are the best team in the league at locking in on defense after a make on offense.
Yeah.
Their defensive rating after a make is 105.8. For reference, OKC is the league's best defensive rating at 107.
Yeah.
That's more than a point better than the best team. The Spurs are third, but they would be the first if they made every shot this season. So basically what I'm saying is, because I know that the games they played against each other matter, but again, it's the Nuggets won 3 of 4. That's a 3-1 series. It's not over yet.
Yeah, it's not. No.
Right? So I think taking in the larger sample size of the Spurs season, if they can string some shots, baskets together, if they can string some makes together against this weaker defense, then they are so good at getting back on defense, setting up their defense, and getting a stop,
Right.
that maybe the Nuggets can't keep up with that. If they're doing well on offense, they all season long, huge sample size, they have done the best in the league defensively.
Yeah.
So I think their offense can lead to defense instead of what most broadcasters say, defense leads to offense.
Yeah.
For them, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
And I think that could give them the edge.
Yeah.
Good point.
No, I think that's a good point. I want to shift to the East now. We haven't talked about any of the
Here we
East
go.
teams. I think we already talked about Pistons. We think that's going to be quick work. Do you guys think that Hornets make something of that series?
Hornets can make it really physical.
Okay.
And very chippy. I mean, we literally saw that early in the regular season.
I mean, we did, yeah.
But I still think like Detroit should win that series. Not completely easily, because I think LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller, like at least one of them is gonna like go off in one game. But like I'd still say Detroit would win in 5. And in Orlando, it's probably gonna go to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it either way.
No contest.
Right.
Detroit winning.
Yeah.
And then I do have Cleveland beating Toronto.
Do you have them beating them handedly?
I'll say 6.
6. Okay.
I'm gonna say 5.
Oh, interesting. I think the Raptors are one of the more interesting teams this playoff.
They
can
are.
win this one.
I'm happy that they're in the playoffs. They're too talented
They
not
have the
to be
length
here.
and speed. for
Exactly. I think that the Cavs pulled it off because I think since the James Harden trade, they've been one of the better
Really
teams
good.
in the
Yes.
NBA,
Yeah.
right? But I do think the Raptors make an interesting conversation. They defensively have unique sets that I've loved watching this year and the way they utilize their length, especially with Scotty Barnes.
Yes.
And also just young, right? They have Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, and that's just to name a few.
Yep.
But
Got Mamu off the bench.
exactly. And then specifically on the defensive side of the ball, I'm looking at this stat right here. Regular season defensive ranking of NBA championships 2000. The average has been around top 5, top 6. Raptors rank 5th. So
Wow.
I do think that'll be an interesting stat. And Cleveland ranks 15th. So it'll be interesting to see. I think this goes 6. I'd still have Cleveland, but I do think the Raptors are another team that can make some noise. And, I wouldn't be surprised if this wins 7.
Yeah.
Or the other way. But yeah.
I mean, these two teams play with so much pace and they're so fast. It's like one of these teams is eventually going to tire out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't think it's Cleveland.
You don't think it's
But
Cleveland?
I want
That's
to get
fair.
to the Knicks versus the Hawks.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, I love this one.
My hot take is that Atlanta wins.
Alana.
Really?
Atlanta. Yeah.
The A.
Wow.
The A.
Just like the Trae Young series that put Knicks fans into the mindset that he's the most evil person on earth.
Yeah,
I think they've been far better past the trade deadline.
they have.
I think Quinn Snyder is a wonderful coach and finally has the players around him to incorporate what he wants to incorporate. And their full season relative offensive and defensive ratings are still right with New York, even considering before the deadline. I think they're deep, they're lengthy, and they have several guys who can hold their own against Brunson.
Yeah.
Several
they could.
guards.
They have several people that can throw his
Nikhil
way.
Alexander Walker, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels.
Yeah.
And the Knicks are also significantly worse on the road than they are at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give at least 2 of those 3 games
To Atlanta.
in Atlanta
Yeah.
to Atlanta because the Knicks don't play well on the road. And I think Atlanta can take this one.
Wow.
I think that this is not a good matchup for the Knicks.
No.
And the Atlanta likes to force a lot of threes. They don't allow anything in the paint. The Knicks like to take a lot of threes, but we all know playoff percentages change, especially when you're worse on the road.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with that environment.
It's what he did in Utah. It's the same strategy he's implementing in Atlanta that he had in Utah, right? He had a wiry guard that's strong, able to hold his own, and Dyson Daniels. You got a vet in C.J. McCollum, which I think surprisingly has worked out for them.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been great.
I hated on that trade.
awesome.
I won't lie. I was like, you got CJ?
It was a weird one.
But it's worked. You still have Jalen Johnson, obviously, who's playing at an all-NBA level this year.
Mm-hmm.
You have Onyeka, who's a mobile big. He's
great.
able to switch. And I think, honestly, Nikhil Alexander Walker, arguably the best trade of the offseason. Some may say that, some may not. But
Athletic agrees.
Well, he's finally not coming off the bench, and he's like finally given a starter role. So it's like, watch what I can do.
And since the Trae Young trade, they're 28-15. So they've played amazing since
They look
that.
great.
Yeah, I have Atlanta too.
Okay.
I have it in 7 though.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go
Me too.
tit for tat, and they'll sneak one in. Though.
But even if they're up like 3-2, Knicks lose game 5.
Yeah.
I think they'll start to hear the voices.
I think they will. I think
Maybe.
they'll have trouble too. If Jalen has troubles in games 1 through 3, like where he's not even shooting effectively, he might be getting his own, but like shooting like 40%.
Yeah.
I think that they'll have faith.
Dealing with the anxiety of the MSG crowd, not feeling so sure about their team. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like as much as I'd like to see the Hawks win for all the reasons that you pointed out, I think it's just like, you know, it's funny. It's actually ironic how bad the Knicks have been on the road this year, considering how last year, like, that was the exact opposite in the playoffs. I mean, they win 3 games in Detroit. They steal the first 2 games in Boston. They won game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals against Indiana, and then most of their games at home they've been like underachieving, and it's kind of the exact opposite. But like, I don't know. I like the Hawks from top to bottom, but also I feel like in this series it's gonna come down to defense. And I know you said that the Knicks are like right out there with Atlanta, but I just feel like the Knicks have better defensive players that can like, you know, really like. I mean, obviously we know what Atlanta can throw at the Knicks, at Brunson and Cat, but it's also like the Knicks can throw a bunch of different things at Jalen Johnson and Onyeka and Kwanwu, and more importantly, like they could take a lot of people off the dribble, and they could make sure that, you know, they're kind of, you know, out of sorts, you know, whatever when it comes to spacing. So I agree that this is going to be, I think it's going to go to 6. I think that the Knicks will make it a lot closer than it should be because against teams over 500, they haven't been the best at lately. But I just, when it comes to the playoffs and Jalen Brunson and just like, I mean, with Tom Thibodeau the last 2 years, like they've been a force to be reckoned with. And I feel like it's not going to be different with Mike Brown. So I like the Knicks in this one, but it could really go either way.
Yeah. No, fair.
Okay. So we're running low on time. We got to get to our champion.
I know, we do.
We have to.
Just
let's
going
get
through
the finals matchup.
Yeah.
What do you got? What's your finals matchup?
I was about to say, just running through quickly, I have the Celtics beating the Sixers. I have Celtics beating the Hawks then.
too.
So
Okay.
I'll have the Pistons going against the Cavs. I have Cavs beating Pistons.
Yes, sir.
And then I have
Okay.
Celtics beating
Cavs.
I have Celtics beating Cavs. So Celtics are coming out of the East for me.
As a Cavs fan, Pistons fans, you have not seen playoff JB Bickerstaff.
Oh, boy.
And it's going to be rough.
It's going to
I'm
be
just
rough.
saying.
It can
And-
be.
Unless he's changed, he might.
Yeah.
But he's a bad playoff coach.
Yeah. So do we have that same Eastern?
I agree with that.
You have the same East,
Do you have
Ryan?
Detroit beating Cleveland.
I have Cleveland beating Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
Cleveland beating Detroit.
We all have Cleveland versus Boston and Boston winning.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then OKC San Antonio or OKC Denver. Who's winning that? I have OKC.
If OKC's playing Denver, I got the Thunder. If it's the Spurs, I got San Antonio.
So, do you think Spurs will beat Denver?
No. So if it's OKC, my West would be the Thunder. Yeah.
So your West is the Thunder.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Perfect. Yes. So I had the same thing. I had Thunder rolling through. I think, honestly, the Rockets will be the Thunder's biggest challenge.
I agree.
I genuinely think that if that Rockets team is healthy,
Yeah.
they can fall. I think that even though they beat them, they have figured out a way to deal with San Antonio.
They've been thinking about it. They've
Right.
been planning for this.
That's all they've been
Yeah.
thinking about.
Exactly.
Like
They've been ready for this one.
they have literally been
for months.
cruising.
Yeah.
The rest of the I really think they've figured out their number.
I agree.
And I don't even think that they get through I don't think San Antonio gets through the Nuggets, so I have Nuggets, Thunder, my Western Conference. I have Thunder getting to the finals, so we all have the same finals then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
OKC Boston. All three of us.
Yes.
Okay.
I got OKC.
Boston.
I have OKC. Here's why.
Biased. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. we can't just end the episode like, oh,
They
that's
really
a...
could. They
So
really could.
I mean,
Let's
yeah.
hear it.
I think personally, from what we have seen out of OKC, they have yet to play their best basketball. They have not been consistently healthy. They have relied on Shea so much throughout this season.
Of course.
And I do think with the trades they have made at the deadline with bringing in Jared McCade, I thought that was an amazing trade.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Sixers were thinking, but
Yeah.
they have so much depth, and they can beat you in a variety of ways. They're still the number one defense in the league right now, which is crazy to say because we've seen the defense at San Antonio, and their unanimous depoy probably Wemby will be.
Yes.
And they're still top 5 in offensive efficiency.
Yeah.
So, considering those two things, I think it will be really difficult for San Antonio or any team, and especially Boston, to be able to deal with that. And that's why I think OKC will win.
For me, I think Boston is the second best team with Tatum in the league.
Yeah.
And I really believe that. And for me, it comes down to if this is a war of attrition and the Celtics are once again limping into the finals,
I know.
the Thunder have, even if both teams are limping into the finals, the Thunder have a higher opportunity for next man up.
Yeah.
They have much higher opportunity.
But that's interesting you say that, though. I might push back a little bit on that because we've seen the
the bench
Celtics
has
team.
been playing good.
We've
Really
seen
good.
how the Celtics team play without Tatum.
Yeah.
They're a top 3 seed in the East without.
They're used to it.
So
I'm not saying Tatum's going to be the one limping
right.
into the finals.
You're just saying
Oh.
I think they'll be a little
auxiliary
bit, yeah.
players. Got you.
It just always happens to them.
That's true.
But I
That's
want to
true.
hear why
Well,
you think Boston.
I think it might be the other way around when it comes to the attrition and when it comes to the health because it's like
That's fair.
when teams like you have to understand like the last time anytime like we say, oh yeah, they have a chance to like win back to back, they usually get bounced out of the second round.
Yeah.
And I think it's happened since what? I don't think it's happened since the bubble, but the point is it's just like when it comes to the Thunder, it's like you're playing so many extra months, and it's why, Shea missed a lot of time, Jalen Williams missed a lot of time, and Hardenstein. So it's like finally, like they're getting healthy, which is good. It's just what you want to see. But to your point, it's just like they've played a lot differently than they did the year before. You're kind of overemphasizing one player over the rest, which rightfully so. I mean, it's Shea for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. I think the thing that Boston could do that really can give Oklahoma City like a little bit of a problem. It's just like their wing depth, and just because you got Tatum, obviously, Hauser's really good 3-and-D, and more importantly, they're a lot younger than they were the year before.
Yeah.
And you have so many guys that can like fit in a larger roles and step up. You got Baylor Shireman and Ron Harper Jr. and Jordan Walsh, and obviously you got Peyton Pritchard, who, is probably the best sixth man in the league.
He's gonna get a bag next year.
Yeah.
Whoever pays him that amount of money, you're getting a good player.
Who's even the?
Welcome to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm going off topic, but like, who even is the favorite to win Sixth Man of the Year this year?
He probably
I
is.
think he's up there. Keldon Johnson is up there, especially after he made his case. So I think those are the 2 betting odds favorites for Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah.
But
I like that take though. I can see it happening.
I can see it happening. I don't think it will happen because I do think Jalen Williams has been not the reason the Thunder have been struggling, but he's so integral to that team.
He is.
And he's just been in and out of the lineup. That wrist has been bothering him.
And even when he's in, it's like you can tell.
Yeah, he's not himself. And I think that they'll figure it out because they can kind of cruise through the first two. Not cruise through the first 2 rounds, but I think they can manage and be fine. Through the first
I just remember when the Thunder played the Nuggets in the second round. I mean, you have Michael Porter Jr. who couldn't even lift his left shoulder up because of that injury, and then Aaron Gordon having the grade 2 hamstring strain, and then they went to 7 games, but the Nuggets just got completely smoked. I'm not saying that's gonna happen to the Thunder, but it's just like there's gonna come a point in time where it's like, how much do you really like physically have left? Like, obviously, like, the adrenaline will really kick in, but it's just like, if you could really pull it off, that's impressive. But it's just, at some point in time, like, the injuries and the attrition, it's going to catch up at some point.
Yeah. No, definitely. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be
Colin,
awesome.
thank you for
Guys,
joining us.
this was an honor. Thank you.
Yeah.
This was such a blast.
You've been great. Love the perspective. Everything you said was insightful and thoughtful.
Yeah.
And you're not just a football Google, man.
Appreciate it.
Football Google.
I love it. Yes.
Awesome, guys.
This guy knows hoops.
He knows hoops, but every week you can tune in here. This has been 303 Hoops. Until next time.